I'm going to show this. Coming with my dog. I have never known a dog in all my life as gentle. Watch this. So he's chewing his bones. Oh, come here. Look how close I put my face right next to him. Come here. Oh, give me a kiss. There's his bone. Look. No one else would do. Look, oh no. Oh, is that Bax's boat? Is that Bax's boat? Yeah. See? He hasn't got, he's, I don't know if it's just, his closeness with me, but he hasn't got a nasty bone in his body, haven't you? We can take his honey cake from you, are you? Yeah. Love him. He's easy to have everywhere with me. That's what's so happy in America, where when you go to places like New York or Atlantic City and there's dogs everywhere. I mean, it's more because people don't have kids, which I love. God, I can't stand kids. It's so cosmopolitan, metropolitan, where like in New York in the financial district, where people actually had large dogs. Well, I noticed this back in 2013, actually, when I was in New York. And I'll be going out and in a restaurant, people have like, they're big dog. It's a big dog city where you go, and it's funny, you see someone with a small dog and it's like, oh, they're from LA. Seriously, like it's like, oh God, they got a tiny dog. Because like, even when you go to the financial district and you got the underdog, oh, love the underdog. I went there, I had a sore throat and I saw the sign on the front and it said hot toddy. And I said to the lady who had an English Bull Terrier, funny enough, that's right. She had the lady that worked in the underdog had an English Bull Terrier, and I walked up and I'm like, I got a throat infection, like, because I've got a cold. I'm like, can I have a hot toddy without the alcohol? So, what? She goes, so just lemon and honey. I'm like, lemon and honey. My throat's killing me. So I sat at the underdog in the financial district with Baxter, and we're talking about the skin conditions with the English bullies. And then I'm looking at the wall, this big mural painted with all these dogs. She goes, that's all the owners' dogs. So what? So they're all the owners that were there that own the underdog in the financial district actually had all the big dogs and so forth. They go, yeah, like the city is full of large dogs. So I love that because a lot of people, I think Australians, a bit ignorant. They'll see a large dog and think it has to be on land. It's like, that's insane because dogs aren't bred just to be all on land. A working dog is a working dog. A city dog is a city dog. Just because it's got the same size legs doesn't mean that you can put a city dog in a backyard. Like an English Bull Terrier is bred to be a city dog, not a working dog. A Kelpie is bred to be a working dog. Kelpie's for land, English Bull Terrier is for city. Just because it's a big dog doesn't mean that you can put it in the backyard. They're bred for an apartment. Like, seriously. And I like when you go to places like New York and it's like, yeah, well, I've got a Great Dane in my apartment. Don't think, oh, I've got this. It's like, yeah, dogs, because just because it's a big dog doesn't mean it needs land to move around. I love, he was playing at Pier 17 every day. Oh, God, it was nice. I was trying to ease PTSD the other day, and I'm just laying there trying to hear the sounds of New York City and feel the sounds of the city anyway, and feel the calmness of the city, and just sort of bring back, which is something that it was called, what's it called? Not imagery, something like back when I used to get bad PTSD after I was mugged on my way home from work, because the mugging put me into a Glasgow coma scale 13. You can see the damage to my left eye. With that, so what one of my doctors used to do, we used to work with something called using a technique. So it's using a technique that was basically, if you weren't in that situation but you could feel a trigger of PTSD, how do you, without medicating it, how to calm it down? It's like, okay, so if you can you hear like the city, like, can you sort of stop for a second, like, think of something that will, like, if you can almost imagery is one of the techniques, and it works. So anyway, so doing it the other night. But Baxter loves it. Absolutely loved it. We're down at Pier 17. He's off playing with the other dogs there and so forth, right on the water. It was great. Like massive piles of snow. It was fantastic. Yeah, love that. Love big dogs. I can't stand people with kids. I'm not going to socialise with you. Back in my early 20s, all my friends, we getting married, having kids, and I'm the gay one, sort of, standing out. It's like, lucky I work 7 days a week, because I was like, oh, I really can't. I don't know how people do it. You look at some people and they're breeders. You know, it's like, but in today's society, it's like we're not repopulating the world because we've been in war. You know, like after the Second World War, we had this massive big influx of overpopulation that came with the 50s and 60s, and we've had a massive, huge population growth since the 60s. And I look at straight couples now and I'm like, why do you breed? Why do you want to breed? Wouldn't you rather focus on yourself and your relationship and what you can build in life with your legacy, with who you are? Because breeding doesn't mean you're you know, oh, like I've had some barbaric, backwards thinking, bigot-minded, minded straight friends that go, oh, that's my legacy. I'm like, no, you're just breeding. Anyone can breed. Your legacy is who you are, not who your child is. Because your child is a different person, and that's a very control freak, narcissistic way to believe that that person belongs to you, so that's your legacy. That's not your legacy. That person doesn't belong to you. You've created life, which anyone can do. That's someone different. That doesn't belong to you. And I find a lot of straight people have this sort of notion. I find it very much in the heterosexual community, where it's like, oh, because they've bred, that belongs to them. It's like, that doesn't belong to you. That's another life. That's completely separate from you. You've just populated the world. That's all you've done. And your legacy is who you are as a person, not who you give birth to. And I find that to be really odd in this world that we live in. When I'm around people that have this barbaric, backwards, almost very backwards Christian way of thinking. You know, poor, povo, plebetarian way of thinking, that it's like, we are not going to be like-minded people to get along, because you are very stuck in a mindset that is actually barbaric, and it's not progress. You know, overpopulating isn't progress. You know, we can see that with what people are whinging about, the shortage of houses and the shortage of supplies and the shortage of this. And it's like, you know, okay, yeah, but you're going to keep breeding and you're going to keep complaining. What you want to do is focus. I mean, I'm also the same thing, where I believe that you can change your career every 7 years. It's like, you know, you should be having a long lifespan. So you want to focus on how do you keep you living longer, no matter what hurdles you have in life. And, you know, like your career path, you can have one career path in your 20s, and then you come into your 30s, it's like, you know, I've done this. I might go back and retrain into another career path that also, you know, helps you, it helps your mental state, and also helps, you know, society, governments and so forth, because you'll be still working and paying taxes and so forth. So the whole, you know, turning of capitalism works. The world only works when there's money. You know, I mean, we can see this. I know a lot of people are such huge believers of socialism and communism. It's like, it doesn't work. Every time it's been applied, it doesn't work. And we don't need to keep repeating history, because there's people out there that have this belief of distribution of wealth or libertarian behavior. It's like, well, I'm sorry, but it doesn't work. And even as an artist, I can tell you it doesn't work. Like, I've always chosen money over my art and made sure that I've worked and then come home and worked on art. My art comes second, because, well, you know, unless it's capitalism, and unless I'm a decent artist where I can get a commission for something. Say if I paint something and they're like, oh, if you paint this, you're going to be paid X amount of money. That's capitalism. That's not socialism. It's not communism. You can be a socialist, communist artist, and I've said this before. I said, but what pays for your paints and your canvases and your work and your murals and so forth is capitalism, not communism, not socialism, not libertarian. You can be, you know, someone that's, you know, great when it comes to producing music, but you're still in a capitalism world. As much as you want to think that you're liberal, you know, and you can think all you want that you're liberal, but what's going to get what you can create out in the world is capitalism. You're not going to be able to have what you can create shown without money, without capitalism, without people that are the what seems to be what socialists hate, is these, you know, rich, wealthy, disposable income people. And it's like, yeah, but that's what pays your wage. So suck that up their ass. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Don't knock this person. Fine, they've got no creative bone in their body. They can just look after figures and they make a shitload of money. But that person also pays for what you produce. You're producing artwork and you're selling artwork. Is capitalism. As much as you want to live in a hippie commune and believe that liberal, libertarian, socialism, communism works, when it doesn't. Distribution of wealth doesn't work. And as soon as you start earning money and working hard and so forth, you'll realize this. It doesn't work. And I always affiliate that type of behavior to people that are just, okay, everybody knows my stance on drugs. And everybody knows, we should know by now, that idiots confused myself with my mum's second husband's family. It's like, yeah, but I'm the one that's very anti-cannabis, which pissed me off in America. Big time in America. I've been extremely anti-cannabis. I don't believe that it works for any type of medical purposes at all. In America, I had people saying that they were going to get a card for, a medical grade marijuana or CBD, THC, things like this. And I'm there going, okay, what I'm hearing is that the government found out a way to tax something. So basically, people who have always been cannabis smokers are just going to make up stories that they need this, get their card and buy. Well, I look at that, when I was having a sort of smirk after the dickheads were doing this, I'm smirking to myself going, when Republicans get back in, I hope all these people are on a database and they change the laws and say it's criminal offence again to smoke cannabis. I'm extremely anti-cannabis. I've always been anti-cannabis my entire life. My stepbrother was a massive, huge cannabis smoker. My stepfather, massive, huge cannabis smoker. My mum's sister's children, massive, huge. And it's me sitting back going, yeah, I mean, I smoke rollies. Cigarettes is just tobacco, and I don't do it every day. It's a treat. Once in a while, like I go into a cigar lounge. So I'm very anti it. And I sit back going, when Republicans get back in, your name's on a database. I hope they change the laws and they go, let's go down the list and do a raid. So we've got in Norwich, Connecticut, we've got this group of people. Let's go raid them for cannabis. That's what I'm walking off smoking to myself going, geez, if I was in, a senator and Republicans, I would be going, oh, we've got all these people on a database now, perfect. We'll just go to a raid. That's how I was thinking this. I am at the most extremely, and I think what's also made me even more extreme is that people thought I was liberal to that behaviour. I'm like, no, my stepfather's family are. I keep getting confused as my stepfather's family, and that's made me even hate people that have those issues even more. This has gone on for years. My mother plays it. That's why I'm not close to my mother. She plays it. It's like, yeah, they're talking about your stepson, Carol. They're talking about Daniel Rackley. Or they're talking about Mark Rackley. It's like, seriously, they're talking about your second husband's family. So anyway. And it doesn't work. There's not enough evidence that prove that it helps for anything at all. Even when it comes to migraines and so forth, because I suffer badly from migraines. I'm like, well, there's been scientific proof that migraine injections, such as small dosages of Botox into areas, like down here and so forth, help with migraines. Scientific proof for that. There's no scientific proof that cannabis actually helps with anything, or CBD or THC. It's just another way, and there's no scientific proof that actually does help with PTSD. And you can actually manage PTSD with techniques that aren't using medication. Dogs are a great example. This whole thing about a dog being a man's best friend is really true. Dogs are the best medication. I'll say I'm massive when it comes to supporting animals for being in public areas, because of, you train your dog in a public space, and it, lowers it. I mean, dogs, for people that have come back and they've seen horrific things like our military, it helps. I'm massive when it comes for, and it's also understanding. I was actually having this discussion with Giovanni yesterday, saying it's not a blanket cover. So everybody is an individual. What works with one person is not going to work with another person. This is where communism doesn't work, because communism and equality, a blanket covers everything as one, where it eliminates individuality. And it doesn't work. Equality doesn't work. Equality has never worked. Equality is another branch of the cousin communism. Okay. Equity works more than equality. Equity means that you look at a group of people, and what specific needs that one person needs is different to the next person. And I love that there was actually what do you call, a comic sort of done with this, where it shows equality. Everybody's given the same step ladder to look over the fence. Okay, so the same step ladder, the same height step ladder to look over a fence, but everybody's different height. So even though we're all the same, the tallest person that can already look over the fence doesn't need that step ladder. Okay, but they've got it anyway. The shortest person who needs something taller can't still see over the fence because the step ladder isn't to the height they need. So that's just a basic example of how equality works. Equity is looking at someone's needs and tailoring specific needs to that one person. Yep. So understanding someone's needs and understanding that it's not equality, because every single person is different. You finished? All right, let me throw it in the bin because it's going to rain. You go toilet. Yeah, my dog's almost finished the bone, so I'm going to finish it up with these videos, and that's it. I am a strong, I've got a strong attitude towards being. I strongly disagree with equality, and a lot of people, I've had backlash because of that. It's like, no, because you're not listening. Equality doesn't work, the same as socialism and communism doesn't work. Libertarian mind thinking doesn't work. Distribution of wealth doesn't work. Okay, these are all, a small group of people who I look at, who've obviously, it reminds me of my stepfather's family. Didn't work 7 days a week like I did. Smoked cannabis, deadbeat losers of people that want what other people have, but they didn't put in the hard work. I mean, myself, I was mugged after work. So what affected my life is that, okay, I was in a Glasgow coma scale 13 after a violent attack on my way home from work to rob me. But before that violent attack, I was working 7 days a week. So before the violent attack of being mugged, robbed, you can see a scar in my left eye, in a Glasgow coma scale 13, November 30th, 2007, I was working 7 days a week, and I was at work 12 hours a day. So that's why I had what I had. Okay, and that's why. And then I had to go for, but even after I was mugged after work, I still had my other side jobs that I had to commit to. I still had, I was working for Steve Hatch and Dimitri 7 days a week if I wasn't studying. So I still didn't slow down in my life and focus too much on my recovery at the time. I'll say that, which is wrong, because I should have just mainly put myself into focus and recovery from the coma. But that's the only thing that stopped my life. And then suddenly these ridiculous behavior of involving that into my life of what these other people believe, because they looked at my life and said, but you don't work. I'm like, but I was. And I went back and I said, my situation's nothing to do with you. My situation's because I was actually mugged and robbed by people like you. And that's the thing. So I look at, like, even people in my own street where I currently live, there's a couple who really irritate me every time I got to walk past them. Because it's like they're in that situation because you put yourself in that situation. You're almost exactly like the person that mugged and robbed me on the way home from work. Your situation is because you put yourself into it. I didn't put myself into it. I was violently attacked after work. You're a drug user. You're an alcoholic. That's what I was attacked by after work. Someone like you. You deserve to have nothing. You put yourself in that situation. I didn't put myself into a situation. I can't help being in a coma because some low-life scumbag of a houso robbed me after work. So you put yourself into a situation where I don't believe you should be in society. And that's where I am. That's what triggers my PTSD off as well. So I look at these people and it's like, you're a scumbag. You're a low-life scumbag and I can't stand living on the same street as you. I was robbed by people like you who think you're entitled, that everyone owes you, and then you go and rob somebody like me. You're a scumbag. I have to walk past them. I walk past them all the time. Oh, some low life that went through, they think because they're reformed alcoholics that it means anything better. So what? You're still an alcoholic. You're an alcoholic whether you're reformed or not. I don't believe in second chances for these people because these people are the ones that destroyed my life. I don't believe in them having second chances. I don't believe that they should be in society. And I definitely don't believe they should be living on the same street as them.